And you got involved in cancer, did you?
Yeah, I had cancer in 2002.
Yourself?
Yeah, I had a mastectomy in 2002, and I would have to say I got VIP treatment. I had my surgery in Castlebar. Unfortunately, we didn't have chemotherapy in Castlebar at the time, so I had to travel to Galway for my chemotherapy. I had 4 sessions of chemotherapy running from the beginning of November 2000 into January of 2001, and thank God I never looked back.
And who done the operation in Castlebar at the time?
Dr. Kevin Barry did it, and he was only new in Castlebar at the time. He was only there a few months.
And tell me this now, when you were found out you had cancer first, what did you think?
I didn't panic. I didn't panic. The reason I didn't panic was because when I was in Leaving Cert, there was a young nun teaching us, and her mother had died at 48 from breast cancer. In that year, and she came into our home economics class, and she gave all the girls, because as you know, Louisburgh was a co-ed and still is a co-ed school, and she gave all the girls a leaflet on self-examination and explained to us the importance of doing it. So from then I would have checked, and I had 3 kids, and my cycle went completely AWOL, so I didn't know when the middle of the cycle was to check. So I said, here goes, I check every Sunday night. So I checked on the Sunday night, and there was nothing. And on the Wednesday night, when I went to bed, whatever way I turned, I felt a lump at the inside of my arm. And I had it, I went to the GP the next day, and my daughter was getting married the following Saturday week. That was a Wednesday night, and I was going to Mosney Community Games on the Friday. So I went to the GP, and I said to her, I want to go to have this seen to the minute the wedding is over, but I don't want to upset the house until the wedding is over. So she made an appointment for the Tuesday. So anyway, went to Mosney Friday, came back on the Monday. We had the wedding on the Saturday, and I went and had the biopsy, the needle biopsy, on the Tuesday. And that was okay. And I went back, and Dr. Barry said to me, he brought me back in about 3 weeks to do a mammogram because of the pocket of fluid he had drawn off. He wouldn't get a true reading. And when I went back, he said, well, he'd removed the lump, but there had been nothing as far as he could see, and that they would do a mammogram. That was on a Friday. And he wanted me to have the surgery on the Monday or the Wednesday. He gave me 2 options. And I was in a bit of a predicament because Mayo ladies were playing Croke Park on the Sunday, and there were a group of 99 Germans coming to Westport, and I had arranged for them singing in the church and singing in the Castle Court, singing in Ballon Row, and I wanted to be here for them. So I decided, right, I'll go in on the Sunday and have the surgery Monday and be home when the Germans come. But unfortunately, when I had the mammogram on the Friday to see the exact location of the lump, they discovered a tiny tumour 1 centimetre deeper in my breast, and I didn't even know I had it. I went in on the Sunday, had the lump removed on the Monday, and when Dr. Barry came in and told me that the tumour had been there and they had sent it to the lab and that there was cancer cells in it, well, I said, what's the alternative? I don't want cancer cells, but I didn't shed any tears over it. I just got on with it, and I had a mastectomy on the Thursday. He didn't want to do it, he just wanted to take more tissue, but I felt, look, you know, it's, for me, it was what I wanted, to have a full mastectomy, so there'd be nobody taking another piece in a year's time or a few years' time. So thankfully that was 2000.
Did you get an awful shock when you heard it first time?
Pardon?
Did you get an awful shock?
No.
No?
I didn't, no.
Or you didn't get depressed or anything?
No, I never, no, and I shed no tears over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was positive. I just said to him, well, I'm going to beat this won't beat me. And that was my attitude. And if I had not had followed up on it, you know, I said it could have been developing for a long time. So the ways I looked, I was very lucky that they did find this little tumour.
So you learned something from the nun when she gave the bit of paper?
Yes, exactly. But,
and you kept that message going yourself?
I always did, yes. Yeah. And funnily, I was speaking to most of those girls that were in school with me at that time, and none of them did it.
None of them?
Because a lot of them would have contacted me. And on that weekend that I had my daughter's wedding, I said, that's it now, my first break from community games, and I have given it so many years, so I'm not going to go back again and go to the national finals. Sure, people came from every end of the country to visit me in the hospital. The sister had to go to stop for 2 days because I was having an average of 45 visitors a day.
And how did you like that?
I chatted away to
You
everybody
didn't mind
and
it?
told them, and I didn't mind.
You didn't say you didn't want to see anybody, right?
No, I didn't know. I just got on with it and dealt with it.
You have a very positive outlook, have you?
I have a positive outlook, yeah. I
And tell
have.
me this now, how did you find the chemotherapy then?
The chemotherapy was severe, and I was as bald as an egg for Christmas, but that didn't matter. As my hair grew back, so it didn't matter. And I would have met people that didn't want to have chemotherapy. People would have contacted me, particularly within the farming circle, because I'd have been very involved in the IFA, and that their wives didn't want to receive the treatment, and I kind of said, well, you should, that it's important to have the treatment and whatever.
Yeah. So you're okay now?
I'm good, yeah, thanks be to God, yes. And I would have been an advocate for the breast check for Castlebar, and couldn't believe what's 25 years campaigning for it before it arrived.
But you got involved in support groups, right? Did you?
I'd be very involved in the support group. The support group here, we would have men and women, and Dr. Mercy and Dr. Farrell, he was one of our people that used to come to the support group, and he found that it was a very worthwhile group that we had, because it was very ad hoc. There was no officers. I made that decision from the beginning. We'd have no officers. Everybody was equal, and everybody chatted, and it might be necessary about cancer, it should be about everything else.